Yeah.
I'm so popular.
Mm-hmm. You can tell by all of the activity in the chat.
I'm an activity generator.
Um, mm-hmm. That's what they mean by energy generator.
Exactly. I'm an activator.
Yes, that's you.
I'm an
Um,
ESI.
so it's settled then. This was all useless. This was all unnecessary.
Quickest typing ever.
Mm-hmm. That's just how good I am.
Incredible.
Thank
Peak
you.
levels of efficiency.
That's that's the TE.
Yes, give.
Speaking of that, so I have a revised questionnaire now, but it has a lot of the same questions. It's just expanded. Do you want me to ask those again, or do you want me to skip over them? Because I can do either, depending on if you think you have like different questions or, I mean, different answers or something. You can speak.
If you could skip over the questions I've already answered, that would be great.
Okay,
Unless you
that
feel like it's,
works.
really important.
Yes. Um, all right then. I will ask again. Have you been diagnosed with, or do you suspect you have any mental conditions, or are you in a different mood than usual? Is there anything else typists should know about your current state?
Yes, within the past however long it's been, I've been diagnosed with 12 mental disorders. No, I don't have anything, and I'm not in a different mental state.
Are you like trying to 100% the like DSM-5 or something?
Yes, I'm trying
Nice.
out for like the Guinness World Record. I don't know if they canceled that, but
That feeling when you fuck up your psychological health because you want to end up in a world record book.
at least I'll go down in history,
Yes.
make an impact.
Um, Actually, about that, I partially asked that because I totally forgot your answer last time.
It's okay, I'm not that memorable.
I don't remember anything about anyone.
Based.
Yes. I feel like I should know this, but how old are you?
Um, well, you see, that is information I would prefer not to disclose. If
Okay,
that's all right. I'll
that's
give you an
fine.
age range. I'm between the ages of um 14 to 55.
Okay, that's really useful.
Yes, you're welcome.
Okay, um, if you found out that a friend you valued and respected was a neo-Nazi or some other ideology you take serious issue with, how would you feel? What would you do?
Based. Um,
I'm
I have a
quoting
lot
that.
of. I actually have a lot of neo-Nazi friends, so I was in a community with a bunch of 4chan people for a while. So, I mean,
Oh
I
wow.
don't I don't really think that there's a particular ideology that I find particularly, repulsive as long as they're not trying to, what's the word? I just hate it when people try to force you to adopt their ideology. Um, yeah, I mean, that comes from both sides. So, extremely liberal people are very annoying when they try to uh, I don't know, like when they're super sassy, like the Twitter girls who are like,
Oh, those
okay,
are annoying.
next, hashtag canceled. It's super annoying. And like obviously, whenever like actually racist people just hate people for no reason, it's like, well, why do you hate the person? And I mean, they don't have a good reason, but I don't know, like sometimes it's interesting to talk to different people. So as long as they're not trying to force you to succumb, or what's the word? Um, Not succumb. Oh, I can't remember the word. Damn it. Anyway, yeah, you get
I
the
get your
gist.
yes. Okay then. Um, that suffices as an answer. Where do you see yourself professionally in 10 years?
So in 10 years, I would probably be either working for a. So I'm like currently working in, I don't know, like not exactly where I want to be. And I'm not sure exactly where I want to be. It could be two different places. It could go into like entrepreneurship, or it could go into a more, I don't know, like a, yeah, it could pivot into, research or something, or it could just be, a spot in a really cool corporation that I enjoy the lifestyle of, and I enjoy working there, and I like the day to day. So I think I'm building towards that, and in 10 years, I would ideally be there. But if I'm not there, it would be because I pivoted to, well, it would maybe because, like once you've spent a few years in the industry, you get burnt out, and sometimes you realize that like everyone's idea of a cool corporate environment is actually kind of stereotypical and like very, very, like overhyped, and maybe I'll think it's overhyped and there will be something else I want. But as of right now, I think that the corporate, like the better corporate place, I don't know, like surrounded by people of my similar age or like just more similar to me would be cool. That's something that I look for. But I don't know what it will be like in, 10 years necessarily. That's just my mindset currently. It's definitely liable to change.
Okay. A lot of these questions are going to be very disjointed because I have like an elaborate like path-based system set up, and if I'm skipping a lot of the questions, it just doesn't. It kind of breaks the flow.
Yeah.
I'm just yeah. When are you most productive? When are you least? Why?
I'm most productive probably in the mornings. After I wake up and drink my water and, like brush my teeth and feel like a human again. I think that if I just wake up, like, I think a lot of my mindset gets defined by what I do in the early mornings of the day, maybe, but it's also liable to change. So, I mean, I can't really tell what defines my day. I mean, I can just tell you that in the past, I've gotten up and I've just got in front of my computer and started doing work, and it kind of flowed into this productivity, and I was really productive until maybe like the afternoon where I just gave up because I either work in like bursts of energy, or I don't do anything all day. So like like I had this project that I had like 2 months complete, and I took the whole 2 months to complete it, but like I definitely could have finished that project in like a week. Like seriously, if I just like sat there and worked. I actually ended up finishing the project in a week because that's kind of more of my work style, is like extreme bursts of energy
Right.
and work, and then just like unmotivated to deal with this. Yeah.
Yeah, I get that.
It's like basic.
Okay, that's fair. I asked you about your hobbies and interests before, but obviously I'm going to skip that part and go on to something that was predicated on that question. Do you wish that your hobbies or interests were different?
I'm not sure. I'm trying to think. I think it would be cool to be interested in different things, just to know what it was like to be interested in different things. It's kind of an odd question since it's really just
Yeah,
asking you, like, would you like to have a different mindset, really? Would you like to be a different, I guess, person? Would you, like, yeah, I guess that would be interesting. I've always wanted to spend a day living in someone else's head, getting to hear their thoughts and like seeing things through their eyes, because then I would know that whenever I think, maybe this is just a human thing, or maybe I have the opposite of most people where they think they're like really unique. I mean, sometimes I think that my experiences are different from everyone else's, but like I think I spend a lot of time trying to identify exactly what it is that makes me different from most people, because if you think about it, when we go to like the core mechanisms or motivations, we're really similar. And it kind of disappoints me or scares me that we're all actually like very similar. And I don't want to I don't want to think that, but like, if I had the ability to live in someone else's head for a day, I would know just how different my reality was from someone else's. It would help with that. It's part of the reason why I'm interested in like personality stuff or socionics, is that question of what actually makes us different is kind of interesting, but I guess that's just like a random thought of mine. So yeah, I guess the answer would be sure.
okay. How often do you acquire new hobbies? How long do they typically last?
I'm not sure what to classify as a hobby. And I think I may have said that last time. So,
Okay.
yeah, so I mean, I get interested in a lot of different things, and they definitely change. I mean, a lot of my life is phasic, so it's not like it's constantly anything. There are some things I go back to. Yeah, I'm not sure what to classify as a hobby exactly, because it's not like, like it's not like I like, um, what are classic hobbies like knitting and like drawing and sketching, and sometimes when I feel out of the box, I play the guitar. Um,
Um,
so
I'm trying to think of a definition that I could give, or like a class of things that would only debatably or arguably be a hobby that I can say yes, that does count, because the idea I'm envisioning in my head is pretty broad.
okay, I
Um,
think I may have an idea. So, or I may be able to answer this better. So,
okay,
there are, like, obviously you could say reading, or reading stuff is a hobby, but there are so many things you can read. So my interests in things that I read vary a lot. So I was really interested in like a period of history for like 2 days. So I read like everything I could about that period of history in like 2 days. And I basically became like an expert in that field of history. And then I just like haven't looked at it since for a while. And like whenever I think about it, I'm interested in, I remember I'm like, oh, that was really interesting. But that shifts to other things. I'm not always like very engrossed in something, but it can last a short period of time. It can last, longer, but or like sometimes, back in the day when I used Reddit before I cringed at the idea of Reddit. I mean, I still use it sometimes, but don't tell anyone that. Um, but
yeah, you
I
say it
I
on a
would
public live stream.
yeah, don't tell anyone. It's our secret.
Hmm.
um, I would, like I would just click on like something, an interesting post. I'd read the comments, and then the comments would like take me to different places, and I would like read deeper and deeper and deeper. I could read it for like ever until I don't know, like I get tired of it, and that sort of describes how my interest waxes and wanes. Does that answer the question better?
Yeah, I think so. I see the like the level of nuance you're approaching this question with, and I'm kind of understanding where you're coming from with that now. But
Okay.
that is that works as an answer.
Okay.
How restrictive are you in choosing romantic partners? What is your biggest deal breaker? You don't have to answer the last part if it's too similar to the like variants of it that I asked last time.
Mm. So my restrictive wise, um, I think I have this weird thing where uh, I get like really weirded out by people like really easily. Um, like okay, so this is probably just a immaturity issue, but well, okay, well this is incriminating. So I would get really interested in, you know, a person or whatever, and it would be really interesting until like they start becoming like really into me, and then the more like obsessed they get with me, the more I guess like repulsed I get. And I would maybe like I think it would be something little, but I think the actual thing that repulsed me is maybe like the shift from the idealized version of them to like the actual person they are, perhaps. So it would be maybe something really dumb, like they walk with a limp or something. But it's not really about the limp. It's just that that limp has become a symbol for the shattering of the idealized version of them.
I
Um,
see what you mean.
yeah.
That was
And
expressed quite well.
yeah, thank you. So, yeah, I guess that. So I would pretty much, you know, like be interested in talking to anyone who I find like whatever attractive qualities in, but I would not, you know, probably stay like I probably wouldn't get into a relationship with them. I would just like entertain the idea of like a romantic, like I don't know, what do you call it, like a little thing or whatever.
I see what you mean.
Yeah.
Under what circumstances can you imagine yourself ending a relationship? How easily would you do this?
I've ended relationships because the person became, I think it was the same thing as like I got bored of them, and then I felt like every day was the same, and I felt like maybe like, you know, it can only go two ways really. Like you can only like lead to more commitment and like marriage, or it could like end it. And I didn't like, I guess it wasn't fun anymore, and there are other people who are more interesting, and so I just like got bored. And so I mean, yeah, usually I feel like it's mutual, right? Like the person doesn't seem that upset, so
Well, that's good then.
yeah. And maybe they are upset and they don't want to show it, but I it's probably egotistical to think that they're very upset, so yeah.
Do you wish that you were in a relaxed state more or less?
I'm not sure because um I had this random weird sort of poetic thought that people spend most of their lives trying to, or maybe this is me projecting, so maybe instead of people, replace it with me and people I've observed. But people spend most of their lives trying to forget that they're alive. And what I mean by that is the painful or the boring or the tedious or the mundane that no one wants to focus on. They don't want to remember that that exists. So things that take that away, that make you forget that you're living. It's not about, you know, like living in the moment or really feeling alive, it's kind of like the opposite, is like actually forgetting that you're alive, because those moments are so rare that like that doesn't encompass what life is. Being alive is the mundane and the ordinary. So they're really looking for the extraordinary thing, which is forgetting that you're alive. And um, so I think that entering into that state of not realizing you're alive is what I seek for. And I think that that to some people represents like happiness, or, you know, you could come up with like a scientific explanation for it with dopamine or serotonin or whatever. And I think that's what I want, and I'm not sure about relax. Really, I'm not too sure, but I do realize that when I'm around people, if I'm, you know, uncomfortable around them, I want to leave, and I don't like being around people who I find uncomfortable to be around. So, I
That's
mean,
very insightful.
yeah, like I hate talking to those people that I feel really on edge when I'm talking to them, you know.
Bad people are bad.
I wouldn't say they're necessarily bad. It's not their fault. They're just really light, and I'm scared that I'm going to say something and they're going to get mad at me, and scary.
No, I see what you mean. Okay. What do you think that you're worst at?
Worst at? There are a lot of things that
Usually,
I'm bad at. Usually, you said usually. Were you gonna? Sorry, say something before I
oh,
cut you off.
I'm trying to remember what I was going to say. Oh yeah, I was
Oh,
going to say usually I get to counterbalance that first with what do you think that you're best at, but I already asked you that, so I have to just jump straight to you describing your worst
I see.
weaknesses.
I see.
Yeah.
What I'm worst at? There are so many things, honestly. Also,
If you
there are a
can
lot
name
of,
like,
if I
oh,
could
go
name
on.
a few. I mean, there are lots of different lenses you could look at this through. You could have a worst in every category, and I don't know how to judge which category I'm objectively worst at within all of the different categories there are. But within the lens of, I guess, relationships or family relationships, I would probably say that I can probably be, I guess I could say, well, within my family, I probably argue too much with them about stupid things, and I don't appreciate, I don't appreciate things necessarily, so I get really hung up with, like, little things. For instance, my mom really likes to share pieces of news, which she gets from interesting sources. And she would also, you know, sometimes say things like, she's just not the most logically coherent person. And it really bothers me whenever she makes factual inaccuracies. And I just need people to know like what factually is correct. Sometimes it's kind of dumb. And like sometimes she'll get really upset about that, and then it'll probably negatively impact things later. So it's something along those lines of being bad at appreciating people because of like factual inaccuracies within, you know, the workspace. I would probably just give like a generic bad at being consistently productive. I'd say maybe being consistent is something I'm bad at. I don't think I can maintain anything, even though like maybe I could like over, yeah, I just feel like I'm bad at maintaining things. And what else? Maybe that gives you enough to work with. It's not a wholly encompassing answer, but probably
It's
answers
up
the
to
question.
you.
Yeah, that's probably good enough.
Okay. Can you think of anything that you're better than 95% of people at?
Probably bullshitting. I'm pretty good at coming up with explanations or detailed detailed explanations of things, or I don't know, like analyzing things or whatever. So I think in my previous interview I mentioned that I mentioned that my brother asks me for help with his essays or whatnot because I'm pretty good at coming up with answers to their questions. So I would probably say either that or just, you know, like adapting or going with sort of, adapting to different situations. I used to think when I was younger that no matter what happens, you know, everyone would be fine because people are really good at adjusting to different circumstances, but some people are really bad at adjusting to different circumstances. And I think that I adapt pretty well to different circumstances, perhaps.
Okay.
I mean, I wouldn't say that I necessarily, like, am good at, you know, like, making friendships or whatever, but I'm good at, like, if I can't make friends, then I'll just, like, be by myself, and I'm good at adapting to being okay with being by myself and, like, find something else to do, or, you know.
Yeah, I see what you mean. Do you have a probability threshold that you want me to stop once I've passed?
I'd say 95% confidence interval works.
Oh, then let's stop.
Perfect.
Yes. Yeah, it was NET again. Would you like to know why?
Yeah, sure, I would.
So the largest pieces of evidence were the extent to which you focus on intellectual interest, suggesting that you're, pretty clearly intuitive, and also probably leading with intuitive. The annoyance with logically incoherent people and inability to appreciate them, just generally suggesting logical. The range of interests and the energy with which you can focus on some of them if you are interested enough suggests not only irrationality but also an EP temperament. And that kind of goes along with with the downside of that, which is your inconsistency and your inability to act in more of a balanced, stable way, or more like an IJ. Erratic levels of productivity. The sort of erratic, possibly inexplicable before you sort of like consciously analyzed it, feelings towards prospective partners is sort of indicative of logical. The desire to go into, ethicals probably have a somewhat better understanding of that. The desire to go into entrepreneurship, obviously, you could have guessed this, the being friends with neo-Nazis. The anxiety. the anxiety around people who you described as uptight, that goes along with logical well, especially NT, because of like sort of their opposite weakest fear is social.
Interesting.
Your tendency to view questions, and this is something I just sort of noticed in general through many different perspectives, indicates leading with intuition, especially but any leading intuitive type could easily do that. Your desire to go into research, again, bad at being consistent. I already said that. Yeah, those are the main things.
Okay, cool. Did you have any more luck on, settling or narrowing down on a subtype?
Oh God, I wasn't thinking about that at all. But I think the best place to start here would be to know what your opinion is on that, since it's still very difficult to discern subtype through this way. And it might just be easier to clear up misconceptions and sort of just settle on one mutually. Since the thing about subtype is it's not quite as hard as type to to figure out yourself. But obviously, not many other than me have a good understanding of it right now because I've barely explained it.
So, did you maybe, can you maybe cross any out or something, or?
I mean, I'm trying to think of some that you definitely aren't, or some category that I think you're in. In the meantime, well, have you seen the video?
The video on...
The video in which I explained how the subtype system works.
I have not seen that video.
Oh. I was kind of assuming that you did. When
sorry.
I was saying that before. No, it's fine. If I had set up my webcam thing differently, I would show you the slides with the tiny descriptions of each one right now, but I don't think I can do that.
I see.
Do you think I'm going to ask you some really vague bad questions and see where that takes us? Do you think that your social role focuses more on primarily, I mean, obviously everyone does both, but primarily receiving information or transmitting it to others?
Probably transmitting to others, but I'm not sure.
Okay, why do you say that?
I oftentimes find myself, throughout my life, when I was younger, I always envied people who were introverts or who had people come to them, because I would always find myself going to other people, and I wish that people would come to me instead, but whenever I tried to restrain myself, I always ended up going back to people again, and so I just gave up on that.
Okay. So you think that influenced how you are at this moment? Because the thing about subtype is it changes a decent amount. So you can use childhood for perspective, and that might be relevant here, but you can't assume that it's the same as the way in which you are now, unless you think that you've genuinely barely changed.
That's fair. So I would say that currently I still probably am the same way in terms of transmitting information. I sort of feel a responsibility to keep conversations going naturally, or to I feel a responsibility to entertain people even if I hate it.
Okay.
Does that match the description of what it should be, or?
That's not entirely what I was thinking, but maybe if that's true enough, then you're also an extroverted subtype, and then So either leading or recombining, but then recombining would also be sort of an extroverted role, but still taking in information.
Well, I do
In the
take in a
sense that
lot of information too, so I'm not too sure.
right. I mean, that's kind of that's kind of to be expected.
Yeah.
Yeah, this sounds like I'm judging you or something, and I'm not. But this would have been easier if you had like watched the video for perspective.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
It's fine.
I've done my homework, boss.
If you want, we could continue to like struggle to do this here, or we could like talk about it like in the server or something after. But that's a choice that I will let you make.
Okay, so I guess like we probably, if most of your questions are hinged on, what's the word? Hinged on, the fact that I would have previous knowledge of the actual concepts that you're talking about, then we're probably not going to get anywhere.
Yeah, I kind of like developed like all of the cast dots that I used to explain how the subtype system works like before I developed the video, and then once I did that, I totally forgot everything that was useful in explaining the system to other people.
Oh, perfect. Okay.
Yeah, which is kind of why I'm stuck here.
Yeah, that's all right. So,
Okay.
well, anyway, I guess thank you for redoing this. And did anyone watch the live stream? Because I didn't get the chance to.
There's been someone in the comments in the chat the whole time.
Oh, really?
So at least one person.
Wait, really?
Yeah, okay, two.
I have to check this out.
It's like, yes, it's right there.
Did they say anything?
They
asked any
things.
questions for me? Oh my gosh,
No.
they said things?
They said things.
Sophia?
I don't know.
Hi, Sophia. Does the chat end whenever you end the live stream?
I would assume so.
Okay.
I think it does, yeah. It also disappears for a day as the video is processing. So if you're impatient, then you might want to look now.
Yeah, let me just take a look. Oops. Sorry.
Oh, there are more people. As soon as we talk enough about the chat, everyone appears.
I don't know why my laptop isn't working, so only my phone is working.
I'm trying. Oh, yeah, I was wondering why you weren't like already instantly seeing the chat, because at least in the way my display is representing it takes up like a whole quarter of the screen.
Did someone say that I was an FIN?
Yes.
Based?
Yeah, it's very obvious with the whole neo-Nazi thing.
Right. Exactly.
You're a humanist in that you like humans who are neo-Nazis.
Yeah, that's about the size of it.
Yes, I'm a good sociologist.
And a good socialist.
If that were true, I don't know if you'd like neo-Nazis as much. Do you have any more questions, I guess?
Nope, I don't have any more questions, but my laptop is working now, so maybe I can see
Cool.
Chat. But anyway,
Hopefully.
You don't have to stay for the entire period of me trying to figure out my technical difficulties. So
do you want me to just take a screen cap and send it to you?
Sure, because I'm actually interested, because...
Okay, well, I just took it, and I'll send it to you after.
Okay, cool. Well, thanks everyone
Yes.
for coming out, and I'm sorry for dragging this out too long, and you can feel free to crop it if you have the ability to do so.
No, it is fine, except for the. I was gonna say something about the length, the extended length somehow being good, but I realized that if it's shorter, then it looks like I'm like a more confident, decisive typist. And so
Oh,
it would work in reverse, actually.
yes.
You're
Yeah.
ruining my reputation.
Well, I guess I apologize, but your video with Ryan was like maybe an hour and like hour and a quarter, hour and a half, roughly. So,
And clearly that was Ryan's fault for something he did that I declined to name.
well, anyway, um, I think that you're building up a reputation as of late for longer. What's the word?
Yes.
Longer typing videos. So
I'm trying to be more cautious now and like since I have a very methodical system now as opposed to all of the other ones I did before.
right. Well,
Yes.
do you have any more typings coming up?
I have quite a few, but I won't be doing a lot of them for a while. I will be
I
delaying
see.
them for like a week or so.
Cool.
Yes. Okay.
All right.
I will
Well,
let
thank
you
you
go
so
then.
much. Yes, I will.
Yes. Of
See you later.
course. Thank you for being here. Yes.
Thank you
Goodbye.
for typing.